Hey everyone! I've launched a new merch store. It turns out this is way more fun to do when you have a persona to design around instead of your boring, fleshy human face. I've started things off with a design based on a sentiment that people really resonated with from my video essay on Beastars. Is being a furry cringe? Absolutely. The cringe is compulsory, the inevitable byproduct of sincerity. If you can't have sincerity, tear it all down. You failed. Start over. The artist for this piece is Mr. Jimmy DeFloof. It was originally just going to be the full-color slogan version, but when I saw his work-in-progress line art, I knew we had to keep that version around too. It's just so good. You can get either version of the art on either a t-shirt or a tank top, and I've also added an option for a sticker, magnet, or this cool mug that has turned out way better than it had any right to. And hey, if you liked Cape Escape, we have tons of stickers of your favorite characters featuring the original art by Sunday's Playzone. I wanted to do right by our artists, so the plan is to pay Jimmy and Sundays a percentage of all profits for the merch featuring their art. That just seems reasonable. I've also recreated an approximation of Jet's memorable hat, and a password parody shirt that makes Toaster's reaction to Haas's shirt a reality. Costume change! That is so
Haas's
unusual
shirt
in any game. What does it say?
Ramen is my senpai. That is stupid. I don't understand. This graham cracker is my father. Okay, whatever you say, dude.
This graham cracker is my father. You can find these at keithballardshop.fourthwall.com, link in the description. I'm looking forward to spotting some of these at Midwest Fur Fest this year. Next up, I have news about Cape Escape. It had a modest but very enthusiastic audience, so we figured it would have a better life on its own channel. Say hello to GNOLLPLAYING games. Please subscribe if you have any interest in our actual play content at all. There's nothing there at the moment, but we'll be doing a rerun of the original Cape Escape show, and as we make more tabletop RPG content, it'll all be going up over there, where it won't be buried by my Let's Plays. There are currently plans for a Cape Escape follow-up, where after a time skip we meet older versions of our main cast as they confront forces that are not yet done with them, a bit like in It or Dr. Sleep. But that's not where we're going next. Instead, our next game is going to be a side story where a cowboy-era western town wakes up one day in the other side and has to find their way home. This takes place in the same universe as Cape Escape and will expand its lore, but no, it's not the backstory of Cape Karma itself. We're taking visual inspiration from my favorite movie, The Dark Crystal, and Horror Buns is currently planning on joining us as a rugged Wolverine trapper. That's a trapper who is a Wolverine, not, you know. But how are we paying for this? Art is expensive. Cape Escape was expensive. Well, we've launched a new Patreon just for GNOLLPLAYING games, and we'd appreciate your support. $1 gets you into the credits, but $5 gives you access to additional materials as they become available, such as our Session 0 planning stage, looks behind the scenes, unused assets, concept sketches, and even short stories that take place in the Cape Escape universe. In fact, Toaster already wrote a story about what Sandals is getting up to, and you can go read it there right now. But why another Patreon when I already have one? Well, I don't make Cape Escape. Ka does. I was just invited to play the game, but he's the one working with artists and writing the story. This way, GNOLLPLAYING games can receive the financial support it needs in direct proportion to the audience it cultivates, even reaching beyond my shadow. It's also, frankly, more than I can handle. I have a lot on my plate. I'll be editing the videos and managing the YouTube channel, but the other logistical stuff is out of my hands and I want to keep it that way. So once again, if this stuff interests you, please subscribe to GNOLLPLAYING Games on YouTube and Patreon. If you thought last session was impressive, imagine if he had a budget. Finally, my own Patreon. I've finished recording Fallout New Vegas, and normally I'd do the vote for the next Patreon game near when the finale will air, but nowadays I've got this whole Patreon early access tier going on, and I've realized that it just makes sense to go ahead and hold the vote sooner rather than later. That way, early access supporters can have, early access to the new show. So I'm going to be holding nominations tomorrow, September 19th. In case you've forgotten, since it's been months since the last vote, New Vegas is very long. That means anyone who supports me via the $15 tier gets to nominate any game that they'd like. Then, a couple of days later, I make a poll out of all the nominations, and everyone who is supporting me on Patreon under any tier gets to vote on which nomination wins. I'm pretty excited to see what'll happen, because my schedule's been very clogged up the last few months, and a ton of really cool games have come out that I haven't had time for at all, so what are you gonna choose? Oh, by the way, I'm nearing completion of 2 video essay scripts, which themselves are also available under early access. Alright, this was a lot, I know. To recap, there's a new merch store, there's a new Patreon-supported actual play channel, Knoll Playing Games, with more to come, and there's a new Patreon Let's Play vote. I've been very busy. Links in the description.